For example, you agree with me
I agree.
that no, about Aisha's age. We don't believe she was 9.
No.
Bukhari and Muslims say she was 9. So what we're doing is, we're rejecting it and we have reasons to reject it. But most of the Muslims say, how dare you? 90% of the Muslims, apart from Shia, 90% of Sunnis, they say, you are rejecting this, you are, probably they say we are kafir.
No, I have a video about it. I explain according to the Quran and according to hadith. Even there is some hadith even for the same narrator Bukhari, and it contradicts that she. Besides, if you think about it, 6 years. 6 years is a minor.
But actually,
9 years.
In no age, 9 years, no time anywhere in his past history. 9-year-old is always 9-year-old. You can never say 9-year-old was grown up at that time. It's ridiculous.
But actually, I was going to ask you, because I was speaking with this Muslim who's at Croydon High Street, and he does the dawah out there, and he said something to me which I hadn't heard of before, but one of you might know what he was talking about. Because what I did is, you know how Mufti Abu Layth was applying the pressure with that hadith about the woman who rejected your prophet, the proposal. So I mentioned,
that's terrible hadith, that is. Terrible.
So I mentioned
She's calling him names that are like Nauzbillah, he's some sort of a lowlife, Nauzbillah. That's in Bukhari and Muslim. How could, Muhammad went to somebody's house, tell us what the hadith says.
It's 3 times in Bukhari, or 4, and once in Muslim.
He went to a Muslim woman and she said,
she seek refuge.
He said, I want to marry you. And she said, I don't want to marry a person like you. She said to Muhammad, I seek refuge of Allah from you. And Muhammad get out of the house, he said, leave her alone. I mean, come on, this is in Bukhari or Muslim. I mean, seriously? And she was a Muslim, obviously.
Because she proposed.
She said, Auzubillah min shaitan rajim, and what hadith said, Muhammad get out of there and go away. Astaghfirullah.
But here,
this is against Quran. This is against Quran.
No, but the thing
Quran
is,
says Rahmatul lil Alameen. I mean, mercy to the world. And she's seeking refuge from him. And he's agreeing with her. He's probably agreed, and that's why he walked out.
Yeah, but what he said to me is, so when I brought it to him, I thought, since he's more of like an old-time Muslim, I wanted to see how you deal with this one.
Okay.
And what he said to me that there's this book that he uses to determine whether hadiths in Bukhari and Muslim are genuine or not. And he said it's called something called Silsilatul Sahih. You ever heard of that? I know the pronunciation isn't right, because the way he said it, it's like Silsilatul Sahih. He said there's some book by some scholar, and that in that book, when you read, it actually explains which hadith. This is what he's telling me. Which hadith from book.
Forget the Quran regarding. He say that the orphan you don't. If they reach the age of zawaj, like marriage, and they are sound judgment, then you can marry them and you can give them that means underage is not allowed to be married. Chapter 4 and chapter 65 explain everything.
Also, this hadith of Bukhari, there's a hidden defect in that. You know, this hadith of 9-year-old, 6-year-old, it's mentioned in the hadith about 13 times, mostly repeated. I think Nasai, Tirmidhi, Bukhari, Muslim, all 6 years, 9 years, 6 years, 9 years, but they're most of repetition. Why? Because about 10 times after 13, it's the same chain. Aisha, Urwa, Hisham, Urwa's son. Every single time, every hadith mentioned one person in a chain. You know what it means, one person in a chain, a gharib. There hadith are akhbar wahid and a gharib. If you have more people in the hadith, it becomes like aziz or mashhur and a mutawatir. But this one has every single time Aisha, one person, Urwa, her nephew, Urwa's son Hisham. After Hisham, there were 8 people. 8 people, his students. The point here is this. We can trust Aisha radiallahu anha, no doubt. We can trust her. She wouldn't lie. We know that. Can we trust Urwa, her nephew? Very much so. That Urwa was a good man. We can trust him as well. What about Hisham? Can we trust Hisham? He was Urwa's son. Who was Hisham? He was a scholar. He lived in Medina for 70 years. 70 years he lived in Medina. He had many students. Among them, one of the students was Imam Malik. Who wrote Muwatta Malik. Then last 10 or 15 years of his life he lived in Baghdad, Basra or Kufa, one of them, in Iraq. 70 years he teach in Medina. None of his students from Medina quote this hadith. This is a very important point. None of his students quote this hadith, and one of the students is Imam Malik, who write the very first book of hadith, Muwatta Malik. He never brings the hadith. Why every student who live in Kufa or Iraq, they bring the hadith? That's a very important point. Is it possible that he's in his old age, and we learn Hisham ibn Urwa, he had a memory lapse, because some of the students says he used to forget things. Is it possible that he forgot? Because in Arabic, how you say 19? Tisatul Ashar? Tisatul Ashar. And Sittatul Ashar is 16. When you say 6, you say Sitta. Meaning some people say he dropped Ashar in his memory. It's possible, because when you say 22 is a one word, isn't it? 22. 22 is a one word in English, 22. If you miss out 20, what left? 2. Same way in Arabic, when you say 19, you say one word. 9, 10. That's how you say 9, 10. Yeah? So it's possible in his memory lapse, he forget to say Ashar. He dropped Ashar. That's one of the reasons.
What's not possible, a 6 years old or 9 years old, nobody will listen to her at that time. They used to bury even their children when they used to be
Yeah, that's the point.
It's a stupid hadith. Besides, there is hadith which prove that all the children of Abu Bakr, they were born before Al-Ba'th al-Nabawiyyah, before the revelation from God. Let's say that Aisha was 5 years and 610. If we add another 13 years, 13 years when he married her, and Al-Madinah 5 and 13, you have 19.
And also, Aisha only had one real brother. Other was 2 step brother and sister. Asma was from their marriage. But Aisha's parents, they got married. Listen to this. They got married at least 10 years or 15 years before Muhammad Sallallahu become prophet. They were married I think they might 595 or 597 when they were married. So how is possible that Aisha was born 15 years after the marriage? 15 years after the marriage?
Besides, Aisha was engaged to Ibn Mut'im. Then when Abu Bakr accepted Islam, the father, he changed his mind.
That's right. And he says, since we became Muslim, they are keeping distance from us. Meaning, when that proposal thing happened, when what's his name, the lady, Khawla, when she went to Abu Bakr, in Tabari and Ibn Ishaq, they mentioned this. When she went there, it was already 10 years Abu Bakr was Muslim. And he says, since we became Muslim, they're keeping distance from us. Meaning engagement took place before he became Muslim. So Aisha, at least 10 years at that time.
At least 13.
Exactly, when engagement took place, maybe 3. So at least 13. Now, where does 6 years and 9 years come from? So the problem here, this hadith has a lot of defects in it. And so we don't accept the hadith. We do not accept the Prophet of God having a sex with 9 years. It's not possible for a Prophet of God to be doing that. But what I'm saying is that mostly Muslims don't reject that. Why? Bukhari said the Muslims said that's the problem. Bukhari and Muslim. And we can prove them, Bukhari and Muslim have contradictions in them. Within them there are contradictions. So the point here is, it's not the easy way, brother. Going against the majority, as long as you follow the truth, you shouldn't be afraid of. Many Muslims, brother, talk to me, you see that, how Mansoor behaved with me. But he couldn't. When I say, yes, one of them, I follow Hafs. Anything else, I would not follow. I'm not saying that's totally wrong. If maybe 1% different verse. I would say probably verse 99% same as Hafs. But I say I follow Hafs, while 95 to 97 Muslim will follow Hafs.
But actually, I don't know if you notice, the reply Mansoor gave was the same one I gave a couple of weeks ago. Remember when you replied that? And I said to you about how also the prayers of the wash people are invalid.
What did I say? I say whoever reading wash, as long if they doesn't have a knowledge of Hafs, their intentions are true, Allah will accept it. Allah will not say why you done that when they have no other choice. You understand? So that's why I say, if you know there is another option and you know that's right, or that's mostly Muslim following, then Allah will judge you. In Innama a'malu binniyat. Yeah, well, whatever your intention is, Allah will judge you according to that. That's why I say I'm on you. He walked away. He probably think I'm like you. He probably think I am out of Islam as well. And who cares? I'm not doing the takfir on him. This is my Muslim brother. If you want to do the takfir, it's up to him. What I'm saying is, I'm not going to follow like blind sheep because majority is following me. Allah says to me, do tafakkar, tadabbur. This will Allah encourage me to think, ponder upon things. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be stubborn that follow what I'm saying. I said, this is my question. Answer me. If you have no answer, you can't just say, oh, are you a scholar? People say, are you a scholar? I mean, Islam means only scholar. Islam is only for scholars. Islam is for everybody, brother. Even for a layman. Inshallah, do that.